Alright guys, we're gonna jump straight into a controversial one, man, on this underrated epic champs list with Sylar, the epic support champ. Good old Sylar and her voluptuous attack all enemy skills, with the A1 being an attack all enemies, the A2 being another attack all enemies, this one with a 100% chance of placing that strong decreased accuracy debuff for a couple of turns, and on the A3, strong version of decreased speed on all enemies for 2 turns, and decreases the turn meter of enemies by 40%. So this is a champ, and I've checked out a lot of other people's top epic champs videos where they talk about, the best epics in the game for this or for that. And Sylar never, ever appears on those lists. She's obviously a wave content queen, right? With multiple attack alls, big turn meter controls, stuff like that. You can smack her off in a stun set, do just fine. I've even heard of some people using Sylar in Arena in a stun set, which is kind of nutty, kind of crazy. I feel like maybe you're just kind of desperate for options at that point. Don't think I'd recommend it for that. What about arena ratings like? 4.3 on defense. Where's the offense? Wow, 4.7 on offense. So people really rate this, actually. There you go. What the hell do I know? The score that I really want to focus on, that I feel like she's really good in Spider's Den as well, by the way, but she doesn't often get the plaudits for that, again, in other videos that I've seen. The score I want to draw attention to is the Hydra rating of a very, very lackluster tier 3.7. And dude, I just don't know. Is it because when it comes time for people to start pushing Hydra, you just generally have better legendary options and stuff like that are bringing the debuffs that you need, and so Sylar falls by the wayside very, very quickly? I'm not sure. Maybe that's it. For me, as a super early on account, 3.5-month-old account that we are running on, I sort of feel, dude, if you're lacking decreased accuracy debuff, if you're lacking decreased speed debuff, and you've got a decent, cursed set that you can throw Sylar in, so now she's applying Hex on the Hydra heads as well, surely, if you're lacking for better options, she's not gonna feel like a 3.7, right? Am I way off with this? Am I crazy as hell? Is this just a little bit too low? Does she drop off too quickly? What do you guys think? We're starting off the video, like I said, with a controversial one, and so I'd really like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And for any who are wondering, by the way, we should also touch on the aura, increase ally speed and faction grips by 22%, so no use for Hydra with that, of course. But yeah, also, she's a void champion, right? That means that she can't weak hit against the Hydra heads with her various debuffs. She obviously can't weak hit on the A3 anyway, because it's not dealing damage, it's just place a debuff. But yeah, she can't weak hit with the A2, man, against the Hydra heads. Surely that counts for something. I don't know, man. Am I tripping? Let me know what you guys think down below. Alright, boys, we're in the Sacred Order faction. You know who's coming, man. We gotta talk about good old poor Holsering, man. Look at these ratings, dude. Look at these reviews. What is this? I think one of the main reasons Holsering is so downrated, is so downvoted, is because unless you pull him relatively early on your account, then he's kind of so niche that you end up just never ever maxing him, right? Because you've already got other champs that kind of just do the same job at least a similar level and are also useful in other areas of the game. Whereas Holsering, he's only good. He's absolutely amazing, by the way, into normal mode Fire Knight. One of the best normal mode Fire Knight champs in the game. And I guess people are just so salty about it that they give him a 3.5 anyway. This is obviously absolutely underrated as hell. But even Demon Lord, dude. This champ, spoilers before we get into his abilities, he has a quadruple hitter and a triple hitter. And, dude, you couple those skills, when you have that many hits on your attacks with a champ, you get them with the Giant Slayer Mastery, so that they're doing, percentage health damage on hit, or at least a chance to do so, and you throw that into Fire Knight, into Demon Lord, that's a hell of a lot of damage. That's a ridiculous amount of damage, right? But again, is he just outscaled too quickly? Is he only good if you pull him early? Is that the problem here, 2.6 is kind of a joke, it's kind of a joke. Let's get into the kit, man. And hey, let me know what you actually think about Holsering. Dude, I think this champ, let me just look this up real quick. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, can confirm, this guy is rated 4 stars on Hell Hades. Dude, look at his ratings on Hell Hades, man. Okay, he's really crap into a lot of areas of the game, but where he's good, yeah, normal mode Fire Knight, he's incredible, right? Ice Golem, not too bad. Dark Fae, incredibly good. Also, very niche. And I don't know, man. I actually don't know why he's got such bad ratings when he's clearly very, very good into certain areas of the game. Fair enough. Give him like a 2 out of 10 for like Doom Tower or Sand Devil or whatever. Fair enough. But why is he 3.5 against Fire Knight, man? Okay, let's get into the kit, shall we? So the A1 is a double hitter. It does attack in at random, which is a bit of a theme for Holstering, so he's only really good when swinging into single entities. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult to sort of manage his attacks and get him attacking the right stuff. It does, however, place the strong version of increased attack buff on this champ for 2 turns if the attack is a crit, which it always will be because, yeah, you're going to build him with 100% crit. That's it, really. Good stuff. Solid start with the A1 right off the get-go, right into certain areas of the game. The A2 is the triple hitter. Attack 3 times at random, ignore 25% of defense against targets under hex debuffs, which he does bring himself. Now, a little bit of an odd effect here. We'll ignore a further 25% of defense against targets under hex from the Bannerlord or Knights Revenant factions. He hates those sons of guns, man. I think it's a crap effect. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's garbage. I think it's so niche that it might as well not exist, but there you go, is what it is. The A3 is the quadruple hitter at random. Okay, each hit, 100% chance of placing that hex debuff for 3 turns. Champions from the Bannerlord and Knights Revenant factions can't resist this debuff. Each hit also has a 100% chance of stealing 25% of the target's turn meter. It's a steal, dude. So he's practically adding himself, I don't know, like half an extra turn most of the time with this attack as well, especially against something like normal Fire Knight. Obviously amazing stuff. Now, it is only a 4-turn cooldown, which is a bit of a problem. Relentless set or even a reflex set on Holstering is, of course, going to be a bit of a must. But yeah, that's the kit. Also the passive, if this champion attacks 2 targets and a hex debuffs during the same turn, which is quite random because all of his swings are obviously very, very random, place a perfect veil buff on this champ for 110. So yeah, that's that. Also increases critical damage by 30% while attacking under perfect veil, by the way. So if you are going to be using Holstering and you do decide to max him out in spite of the reviews, then you do want to place him alongside a perfect veil giving champ if you can. Would I recommend that you do that? I don't know, he's so niche. Like, probably not. You're going to try and build a team around Holstering. Seems a bit unlikely. But there you go. What do you guys think of Holstering, man? Does he deserve these ratings? Is it a little bit out of control? Is it a bit over the top? I'd love to hear about it. I feel like he's got to make the underrated list. He just has to. 3.5, come on now. Next we're covering an old champ that's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. And is she underrated? I think that the combo of these champs is underrated, and you know it, it's gotta be good old Juliana, who has a crap load of reviews, by the way, 16,000 reviews on this champ, and honestly, most of them are pretty good, okay? And the reason she has so many reviews is because she's often a promo code champion, right? You can get your hands on Juliana by signing up using a promo code to just start off your account with Juliana. Usually once your account hits like level 15 or level 20, you get the champ. In fact, the promo code linked down below this video, if you're looking to start off a new raid account, or maybe start off like a new free-to-play adventure or something like that, you click on that promo code, start a fresh account, Juliana will be the free epic champion that you get, as well as a whole bunch of additional starting freebies, man. So there you go. An underrated, or at least somewhat slept on, kind of ignored epic champion that is pretty sweet in terms of being a boss killer, can be yours by clicking on the promo code down below. New accounts only, of course. Now, the A1, let's just cover the kit real quick, man. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times, pretty good. Each crit fills this champion's turn meter by 10%, so it's just a 20% turn meter fill, because, yeah, you gotta build out with 100% crit. The A2, increase... Oh, you actually... What am I talking about, man? Shut the hell up. You only had to build out with 70% crit, because of course she brings the 30% increased crit rate buff on herself for 2 turns, then attacks in 2 times against 1 enemy with a chance of placing strong poison. This A2 will also ignore half of the target's defense when Romero is on the same team, which is what we're really going to be drawing attention to here, man. It's the partnership of Juliana and Romero that makes them so good. She's really, really good without him, by the way. She's still solid, but together, these two will rule this Middle Earth, okay? Now, the A3 attacks 1 enemy, removes all buffs from the target with a 75% chance, or rather, 100% chance, I should say, of placing a HP burn debuff for a few turns. She's just really quite excellent for a new account, man. Boss killer that can kind of handle a little bit of everything, minus maybe Spider. But how can we possibly talk about Juliana without talking about Jaime Lannister himself, aka Mr. Romero, who is Honestly, just a fantastic. These two are a little twosome package. You know what I'm saying? Juliana brings the damage. Romero brings the stability to the team. But dude, this guy can slap when paired with Juliana as well. And it's all because of the A3. Oh, sorry, the A4, I should say. Which only unlocks when you get Juliana alongside him in the team. What's the A4? Dude, attack all enemies thrice. A triple hitter attack all on the A4. Did I just call it the A3 again? There's a lot of threes in this tooltip, and it's confusing me. Yeah, this thing just absolutely slaps. He's also a defense-based champion, so he's very, very tanky himself. He brings a lot of survivability to the team with strong version of increased defense, shield buff based on ally max HP. He even brings on the A2 a continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns, plus steals 1 buff from each enemy. Like, man, this guy's crazy as hell. This guy's better than Juliana, but only when paired with Juliana. Yeah, this little duo, I don't know, man. I think that they're awesome. I don't see them talked about often enough. Are their ratings good? They must be. Yeah, their ratings are pretty solid, but screw it. Rather than put them in a top epic champs video, I thought I'd just slot them in here instead. Because again, I just don't see that many folks talking about these guys, man. So there it is. Next up, we're heading on into the dwarf faction to talk about the humble Rockbreaker. My god, look at that helmet, dude. Dude, a little bit like Sylar, Rockbreaker is one of those champs that dude, he is a king of wave-based content, but it's just kind of unlike Sylar. I guess just a bit lackluster everywhere else, and so if you pull Rockbreaker, you might look at these ratings and think, oh my god, I've pulled an absolute piece of crap. I mean, sure, a Faction Wars rating of 4.6, but who cares about that, you know? Any epic has like a 4.5 plus in Faction Wars, right? What's the big deal? Dude, Rockbreaker is just a very, very sturdy provoke tank, especially into longer stages, right? Stages with multiple waves, that is. Mostly because of the A1. So attacks one enemy, increases champion's defense by 4% each time this skill is used, will stack up to 20%. As far as A1s go, not bad at all. The A2, 100% chance of placing a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, and place a counter attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. So you can see how very, very quickly indeed he can build up that kind of passive, almost like passive weak version of increased defense. And to be honest, that's kind of making me wonder, because he only has the one A2 skill that's actually like an unused skill with a cooldown. Is he worth just putting in a reflex set for that reason? Would he even work maybe in a good provoke set? Potentially, just because he's swinging in with the counterattacks all the time. Can the counterattacks trigger provoke on the A1? I'd imagine there's no reason that they couldn't, right? Feels like that should work. I don't know. How would you guys gear up good old Rockbreaker? The passive, though, is where it's really at, right? Fully bucked up, this has a 50% chance of decreasing damage inflicted on this champ by 50% every time he is attacked. And I don't know, man, the guy's just sturdy as hell. I don't know what to tell you. I feel like it's one of those champs where, once again, you check out the reviews, you might panic a little bit without ever realizing just how solid this guy is where he shines. Which is going to be higher stage wave content, right? Where you just need to live for a long, long time and, you know, have like your epic champs that aren't really ideal for whatever secret room it is that you're trying to clear or something. Just buy time for those suckers to get you the win. Rockbreaker is going to be your man. He's going to be the backbone of the team. He's going to be the shield that protects. Is he underrated for that reason? Maybe. I think so. I don't see him talked about often enough, and so therefore, I think he qualifies for this video. Next up, we've got a little bit of an odd pick here in the form of Razelvarg, the Skinwalker attack legendary. Now, this guy actually has pretty solid reviews. Once again, I don't see him spoken about all that much. He actually only has 910 reviews, and I think this is moreover a champ that you can pull and just think, okay, sure, he has lots of like multi-hitters and stuff like that, and it's easy to overlook or to not consider the crazy value that this guy can get over longer fights, right? Hydra, Clan Boss, amazing into things like Finite as well, by the way. Let's just cover the kit and get into this guy. Is he underrated? Does he make the list? I don't know, dude. I want to talk about him anyways, so just screw it. We're just going to bundle him in there, man. So the A1 is an attack enemy, one enemy 3 times, each hit filling this champ's 10 meter by 5%, so 15% 10 meter fill with a triple hitter A1. Obviously, very, very good right off the get-go. The A2 is an attack all enemies with a 100% chance of placing Leech debuff for 2 turns. Also heals this champion by 10% of their max HP for each Leech debuff placed by this skill. So a lot of stability, bringing a lot of survivability to the team. Leech, obviously fantastic, particularly into Hydra. Really, really good stuff. And dude, I'm just excited to get to the passive, but patience, my dudes. Okay. The A3 attacks all enemies, plays a strong increase speed buff and 50% increase accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns before attacking. Strong buffs, bringing self buff on the increased speed. That's really, really important for a reason. And the reason is this. Each increased speed buff placed by this champion increases this champion's speed by 5, stacks up to 100. Dude, what is this? Also brings a 20% speed aura if you so choose to use that. Now, obviously, speed tuning this guy is going to be quite the nightmare, right? Quite the challenge. But man, the value of this passive, man, I don't think, especially newer players, right? Especially newer players, the value of 100 speed just innately on a passive like this. Like being able to push this guy to like goddamn 300 speed stats. Are you kidding me with that? That's completely ridiculous, right? The value of 100 speed like this, not coming from items, is just unreal. Like I say, especially in those longer fights. And lastly, another champ that is somewhat easy to overlook unless you are really looking into their kit and really considering the kind of value they can offer is gotta be good old Skuramis of the High Elves faction. Epic HP-based champ. Got all of those HP and defense-based champs. For a quick kit breakdown, we've got the A1. It's a single hitter, attack one enemy with a 100% chance of stealing 15% of the target's 10 meter. Has a 20% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn if the target's 10 meter is fully depleted by this skill. What's the big deal, right? Doesn't seem that good, you know? Well, okay, so we've got a small chance of placing a stun if we hit a guy who's just attacked in. What's the big deal, you know? Like, most of the time you might assume this is just going to be a little bit of 10 meter steal. The A2, attack all enemies. We'll get back to the A1, by the way. Attacks all enemies on the A2, decrease the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Very, very good. Kind of like a soft buff peeler, if you like, on the A2. Also has a, what's this? 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. Not 100% reliable, not ideal, but then again, this isn't the part of the kit that people sleep on. Does also fill this champion's turn meter by 10% for each buff that has its duration decreased. Dude, against certain targets, can this not just be like a 100% 10 meter fill on its own? In something like Arena? I'm not sure what his Arena ratings are, we'll check that in just a little bit, but anyway, the A3. 100% chance of placing a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Places a counter attack and a continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns. Dude. Provoke, continuous heal, 2-turn counter attack buff, all in 1 skill. Now this is where this guy's a little bit underrated, right? If the enemy is provoked and they swing into Skuramis with an A1, first of all, they're probably not going to do much damage to him, right? But most importantly, they've just attacked in with the A1, right? Because they're provoked. This means that their 10 meter is, when they attack in, at 0. They have no 10 meter, they've just swung in. That means that when they trigger the counter attack on Skuramis' A1 and he smacks them across the cheek, you get that 20% chance of placing that stun debuff for 1 turn if the target's 10 meter is fully depleted by this skill, which it will be because they don't have any 10 meter, right? And in fact, I'm saying 20%, it's actually a 30% chance, right? Fully booked. So I misspoke there even. So not only do you waste one enemy's attack because they're provoked, right? So they're attacking in with usually a crappy A1, so they basically waste a turn there. You then get the chance to stun them, okay? Because their 10 meter is fully depleted, so they attack in, waste a turn. Then you stun them, so they miss another turn, right? Because they're stunned. And then their 10 meter has to refill again. So they're like missing arguably 3 turns if the stun lands, you know? Which is just absolutely crazy as hell. And I've got to check out his arena ratings. Is he rated good? Of course he is. He's rated sweet. That said, very, very few ratings, man. Only 741 reviews on this champ. He's somewhat underutilized, right? Underappreciated, undervalued. And so all in all, I feel pretty confident with including this Giga Chad on this list to round things off. Which underrated champs am I missing? Keep the suggestions coming in, guys. Really, really appreciate that. And that is going to be all from me. If you are looking to start off a new Raid Shadow Legends account, make sure to do so by clicking on the promo link down below at the top of the video description to start your fresh new account with your free epic champion. For now, thanks so much for watching. Hope you all did enjoy. And you know what? I'm going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later, man.